Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a controversial hire at City Hall that's prompted the mayor to defend the decision. CBC's Chris Ensing explains.
The city is defending a new hire in Windsor's Parks Department, a new project manager with 27 years experience, according to the city. She's Jane Deneau, and her husband is Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens. The mayor confirmed the hiring on AM 800 this morning. The non-union job opening was posted April 4th and closed within a week. The posting lists the salary range between $96,000 and $116,000. Deneau will provide overall management for every aspect of design, development, and implementation of the department's initiatives. She'll also prepare reports to present to council and senior management. According to the city, Deneau is not a manager-level employee, but she reports to the executive director of Parks, Recreation, and Facilities. Dilkens did not use strong mayor powers to hire his wife. He delegated the hiring for positions like these to other city staff. But he can hire or fire the people that lead the department she now works for.
It sort of muddies the waters.
The director of Western University's local government program says hirings like these can raise concerns because of strong mayor powers.
You know, what this situation elicits, is also concerns about how the powers over senior members of administration could leak kind of deeper into the organization or affect the behavior of people deeper within the organization when they're doing things like hiring people.
The city said they followed all their hiring rules. That includes the completion of a family relationship form. Windsor's CAO says that's in place to ensure that there's never a direct reporting relationship between related parties. 278 people applied for the job. 3 external candidates were interviewed, according to the city. This is not the first time that Deneau has applied to work at the city of Windsor. She's applied twice before, but did not get those jobs, according to the city's Human Resources Department. I asked Deneau for an interview. She did not respond. I also asked to interview the mayor. He responded in a statement saying he's proud of Deneau and inspired by her accomplishments, adding that the city is lucky to have her on board and she's lucky to be part of the city's team. Her first day was May 20th. Chris Ensing, CBC News, Windsor.
In the countdown to the official end of all Hudson's Bay stores, protesters are calling out the company to do better by its workers. CBC's Pratush Dayal reports.
The iconic Canadian brand Hudson's Bay is closing all its stores by June 1st. The company has announced to lay off more than 8,300 employees by then, and that includes 55 employees at the Windsor location. The local union representing those workers says the company should put its employees first during the liquidation process. About 50 Unifor supporters gathered outside Hudson's Bay, with the union rallying to call on the company to honor its obligations to employees of protecting wages, pensions and benefits. The union says it wants to see the cap on the Wage Earner Protection Program, or WEP, raised. That's a program that lets staff apply for compensation when their employer files bankruptcy. A court order will determine whether Bay workers can apply. But Unifor leaders say that it will only amount to a maximum of $8,800, regardless of how much a worker is owed. They're asking the federal government to step in.
Like very, very sad, devastated. A lot of them are trying to figure out, like, how are they going to make their bill payments? How are they going to, what's that transition look like? And, it's still unknown with the WEP when a court will decide that they can apply for the WEP program and, the EI portion and stuff.
Another Unifor representative says that severance isn't protected for Bay workers.
A little annoyed. I think the people of Windsor understood that this was, maybe not a huge surprise. And if that's the case, then we'd wished, Unifor would have wished that Hudson Bay would have been more strategic about this and made sure that they had money set aside for workers to cover their severance and earnings before they entered into this process.
CBC reached out to Hudson Bay for a comment, but did not hear back. The law firm representing the company had previously said it's not clear whether employees will be able to recover any money. But in the last few days remaining before the store closes after 55 years, Windsorites say it's a sad day for the iconic store.
I remember coming here as a kid with my brother and sister. My parents would bring us here, and we'd try not to get lost. You know what I mean? It's been here as long as we can all remember. So You know, it's kind of a sad day.
Sad. That's in my favorite store. No good.
This longtime shopper and former Bay worker says her heart is with the staff.
I think the stripes will always be with us, even though the building's not here, but it will stay. It will always be here. Can replace it? Not really. It was unique and it was special, and we will miss it.
Pratish Dayal, CBC News, Windsor.
Colette Kennedy joins us now for our first look at weather. Colette, you warned us not to worry too much about today, and you were right. It was lovely.
Yeah, we've had a pretty great day. I mean, a little bit breezy there, especially as we got into the afternoon hours. But yeah, a good-looking day and had more sunshine with the clearing into the afternoon. Now, you will notice I've got the radar up here, and there are some showers, okay, in the vicinity. Some of this is actually going to push kind of southward, but then we've got more energy coming in from the west, and it all comes together. And yes, we do get into some rain showers later on this evening, overnight, and into tomorrow morning, and a few possible into the afternoon as well. So 12 degrees for the low, and a slightly different day on tap for tomorrow, and cooler with a high of 16. I'll take a look at that long range forecast a little later in the show.
Sounds good. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Up next, King Charles delivered the speech from the throne to officially open Parliament in Ottawa. It's the first time a monarch has read it in nearly 50 years. It touched on Canada-U.S. relations and spoke of Canada's place on the world stage as an independent and sovereign nation. Ashley Burke has more on the story.
A royal parade for the history books, designed to put Canada's sovereignty on full display. The pomp and pageantry of this two-day visit, all building up to the main event. The King entering the Senate to read the speech from the throne. A first for a monarch in nearly half a century. The King meeting first with a chamber packed with senators, premiers, and former prime ministers. Then starting his speech on a personal note.
Every time I come to Canada, a little more of Canada seeps into my bloodstream, and from there, straight to my heart.
In his own words, the King sending a message to the world.
I've always had the greatest admiration for Canada's unique identity, which is recognized across the world for bravery and sacrifice in defense of national values, and for the diversity and kindness of Canadians.
He acknowledged this is a critical moment for Canada and ended with praise for a country he calls a force of good.
As the anthem reminds us, the true North is indeed strong and free.
Everybody was applauding, and nobody was stopping. I thought we would have clapped in there for 5 minutes.
We are not Americans, and we don't feel we have to tell people that, but it was just very clear what is distinct about our national identity.
A moment of national unity as politicians from across the country got up close.
Canada is a different country. Canada is an ambitious country. And, that's a powerful message, like I said, not only for our friends down south, but around the world.
We have an entire country that is making it clear to the U.S. that we are independent and free and not interested in being part of the United States. If this doesn't get through to President Trump, I don't know what will.
The speech from the throne also laid out the government's priorities, from building more housing to addressing the cost of living and spending more in defense to protect Canada's sovereignty. But the Conservatives leader says he needs more details ahead of a vote, and that will be the government's next big test. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Caught on an exclusive audio recording, a frustrated Air Canada pilot gives passengers his opinion on why flights like theirs keep being delayed. John Hernandez investigated what he told them.
It's costs the company a lot of money. It costs business people a lot of money.
Delayed and disillusioned, an Air Canada pilot vents to passengers stuck on the tarmac at Vancouver International Airport.
Since we got the time, if you want to write a letter to your MP and tell them what's going on, maybe they could address this problem.
The problem, a shortage of air traffic control workers. Delays and cancellations at YVR have been mounting for weeks, leading to this rant captured by a CBC reporter.
We believe that there's a lot of evidence that the people in charge of air traffic control in NAV Canada are keeping, like the air traffic controllers are keeping the numbers low to keep the overtime up.
A charge denied by NAV Canada, the private nonprofit that operates air navigation across the country. It is in the midst of a major recruitment blitz to ease its labor crunch. In a statement, it said, "We leave no stone unturned in supporting a candidate's success. As a result, we refute any suggestion that controller trainees are disqualified from training in order to protect overtime." The pilots' union says the shortage is causing problems from coast to coast.
Most people that have traveled, I'll say, have noticed a delay or of some sort somewhere across the system, whether it's in YVR or elsewhere.
Smaller airlines find themselves particularly vulnerable.
Nobody likes getting delayed, and it is often the air operator that is blamed for the delay.
This Indigenous-led airline flies from YVR to Vancouver Island and reports delays nearly every day.
So we're getting delays anywhere between 20 minutes and 2 hours. And when you are operating a 25-minute flight, that's significant.
There are about 2,000 air traffic controllers in Canada. Their union says hundreds more are needed to clear these planes for takeoff. John Hernandez, CBC News, Vancouver.
Back to local news now. Windsor has a new darts league for the blind. And organizers say it might be the only one of its kind in Canada. I spoke with the organizers and the players about what it means to them.
Okay, we got 17.
I got points! I got points! Hi, my name is Peter Best, and I'm here with the Blind Darts program at the Legion here at Branch 255. In our community, there's not a lot of activities for blind and visually impaired people. And we're saying, well, what can we do? And we were looking at the stuff in the Legion. We're sitting there, all these dart boards. I said, well, why don't we play darts? Well, then they said, well, wait a minute. You got blind and visually impaired people throwing sharp objects around a crowded room. I said, it sounds perfect. We do have guides that point us in the right direction.
First name's Gary Best. I'm Peter's first cousin. I decided to come and help them out with their dart throwing. Right from the get-go, I line them up. I get them lined up on their line to throw the darts towards the dartboard. And I'll tell you, they have improved since the beginning, and they're getting better, and they're getting better. They're starting to hit the board really good now, so things seem to be going pretty well for them, and they're having a great time. Plus, they're using real darts. They're not using plastic or any other kind of darts. These things are very sharp, but I make sure that I am totally out of the way.
Clear, clear. To our knowledge, there is no other darts for the blind in Canada, but people are fascinated, and I think what it is that it gives all of us an opportunity to feel like we're just belong. It also demonstrates that when you have a disability, there's, you can find a way to get things done.
I just like throwing darts. It's fun. It's fun because everybody here is fun, and we have a good time.
I had never played darts before, and I just thought that it would be a really nice social thing to do.
I really wanted to become more involved, and I have to say that has led me to just enjoying it and realizing that there are people out there with the same disability that I have, and I've learned a lot through other people.
We still have something to offer, and we're enjoying it, and the Legion has been so welcoming, so we just feel as if we belong.
We do it very safely. We've been doing it, like I say, since February. Nobody's been injured, and everybody keeps coming back. It's just having a great time.
That was so much fun. I've got one more cool story to share before break. Have you ever wondered if you have a musical instrument hiding in your fridge? Well, after this story, you just might. What sounds like Mozart can be heard outside this farm store in a southern English town. This is the London Vegetable Orchestra. Stay with us. We'll have a local measles update for you after the break. Welcome back. Some positive signs in the numbers when it comes to the measles outbreak in the community. I spoke with the head of the local health unit for more.
My name is Mehdi Alouche. I'm Medical Officer of Health at Windsor 6 County Health Unit, and today we are here to talk about measles in our region. We see a slowdown of the cases that are coming and less exposure, but we still see the cases, and we're still seeing exposure in public spaces in the schools. If you ask me about the exact number, we had 6 cases, 6 recent cases, which means that we had 6 cases in the last 21 days.
So that's a significant drop-off from March and April. So how do you view that positive trajectory? Do you see it as positive? Are you weary?
Yes, so first of all, we compare data. We compare our data with the provincial data. It's aligned with what we see in the province. The province also reported, in general, we see the less number of cases, which is good. Some of the concerns is that we are not getting the patients, which means that the patient doesn't go to doctors to get tested. Measles is the most contagious disease that we know of, so people who are exposed get the disease. I think that it's a combination of protective measures that we put in place, and if you remember earlier in the outbreak, we started vaccinating 6 months to 12 month infants, which protecting them from getting the disease. We also provided lots of messages about getting your vaccines and lots of uptake in our community. We also vaccinated migrant farm workers in our community. 5,000 vaccines were gone into the shots. So in addition to all of those measures, those who are decided not to get the vaccine or were unable to receive the vaccine got the disease, and we expect that slowing down at some point. Hopefully this is the time.
Will your messaging change now that things seem to be slowing down?
So the message is still the same: get your vaccine, stay home if you're sick. If you become sick, call in advance when you go to the healthcare facility, because it permits time for the facility to provide proper care. At the same time, they put measures in place to protect other people and reduce transmission of the disease to others. Messages are the same.
How much did it cost the health unit? Like, was this an expensive endeavor to get a handle on this?
We haven't calculated that. We're still in the outbreak mode. If you look at the studies that has been done after controlling an outbreak, all of them reported very expensive measures, because you need to stop your daily activities, refocus to something, you need to mobilize resources, vaccination, new expenses, all those sort of things is very expensive for the community.
Let's turn now to a neat story about a 75-year-old woman who lives in Mexico City who has some very demanding house guests. And Katia Latouf is not just busy running a hummingbird sanctuary from her bedroom. The cancer survivor is also a health coach and supports patients undergoing cancer treatment. Her sanctuary takes in hundreds of sick or abandoned hummingbirds every year. The birds are cared for until they are strong enough to be released back into the wild. Latouf is also an author and finances the sanctuary using money from her book sales. And sticking with nature stories now, visitors to Ojibwe Park recently were treated to a very unique sight. You're looking at a Cropia moth. It was spotted in the park off one of the trails in recent weeks. Now, while the moth is reasonably common, few people get to see one, and that's because these giant silk moths are nocturnal and they hide in shaded vegetation during daylight hours. Cropia moths emerge from their cocoons in late spring and early summer, and it is the largest native moth in North America with a wingspan of 5 to 7 inches. And after the break, Colette Kennedy will join us again with more on your weather forecast in the days ahead. Stay with us. Colette Kennedy is back with us now for more on weather. Colette, sunshine today, tomorrow rain again. We're kind of in this back and forth, so talk us through it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. And the one thing I will say is, you know, when I put one of those icons on the graphics and it shows rain and cloud, you know, you can't help but think, oh, it's going to be rainy and heavy rain and all day. And that's just not the case in terms of what we're getting with this next system coming in. Yes, we're going to have some showers to contend with, but a lot of it actually kind of pushes around us. So there's still some decent weather to be had, and certainly this evening there is. Current temperature at 22 degrees, 20 in Chatham-Kent, starting at 16. Yes, the winds have been a little bit breezy, so these are just the sustained winds, generally between 20 and 25 or 26 kilometers an hour. But you can see the areas where we're getting gusts over 30, 46 in Windsor from the east, and Chatham-Kent there too, having more of an impact there on the temperature for Chatham-Kent. So here's some of that showery activity, but we've actually had some of the clouds from earlier in the day receding and pushing southward, which is kind of where that moisture goes. It's just there's more to reinforce this. And as this next wave comes in, it actually sort of comes together. But when it all comes together is maybe going to be as it's passing Windsor. And so that can lend itself to some lighter precipitation. So let me take you through how all of that looks. Here we go through the overnight. Yes, I said there's some showers in the forecast this evening or overnight, but really pretty light and isolated. Even tomorrow morning, although they're around, and I want you to be aware of it, it's not until we get into the afternoon it becomes somewhat more widespread. Now, I'm going to punch this again. I've put lots of pauses in here to explain this. As we pull this together, you see how the moisture is now coming together, becoming more significant, and just as it is sort of on the doorstep, well, it's passing us by and moving north and east. And so that's why the amount of rain for southwestern Ontario is actually going to be not that significant. Now, into the afternoon on Thursday, a few pop-up showers because of the instability, yes, still returning. So it's a couple of days where having the umbrella around is just a good idea. It makes sense. 11 to 12 degrees for those overnight temperatures, so easily holding into the double digits through this region. But it will be a little cooler tomorrow, a little bit breezy as well. Perhaps not even as breezy as it is right now. 16 for the high, and then on Thursday, afternoon showers are possible in here, 21, and by Friday, I do think our temperatures are going to rebound pretty nicely and getting us into a pretty good-looking weekend, too.
Yeah, I'd love to see how much better things look after tomorrow. Thank you so much, Colette.
You're welcome.
And thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.